Hello, my name is Creostix, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Day 3 investigation of Episode 5, Rise from the Ashes. So, let's go. This is the exact spot where we left off, as per usual. February 24th, 3:12 p.m., Wright & Co. Law Offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. This is from the court day before. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I'm not sure, but I don't think Emma in any later game has that hair bun at the top. It's a very Mayan thing to have. Sorry, not as in Maya native South American, I mean Maya Fey, as in the spirit medium. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Darke killings. Well, now we know. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Darke convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Darke's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Darke tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Darke trial. I mean, I think we knew that already, right? Like, sorry, we didn't know that Emma was that's the specific thing that happened to her. But we did know that she was a witness, right? I'm pretty sure it was mentioned here somewhere. There. Witnesses Lana and Emma Sky. So that wasn't news. But how she mentions it, that's news. So I didn't see that one coming. Okay, let's talk. SL9 incident. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Darke. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Darke tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture? After the incident, I don't remember the moment when Darke stabbed Mr. Marshall, so you weren't able to testify about that. No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes. But I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean, it's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. Permanent picture. What did you see in the instant that crime... What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? I feel like there's a there's something clumsy about that sentence. Like, what did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Because I would almost like rather say, what did you see in the instant that that crime occurred? Because it sounds odd that way, but I'm not sure if it's still technically correct, but that sounds clumsy and odd. Like, I would use two that's back to back, or just say it a bit differently instead, altogether. Darke knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. You've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14, that's understandable. Yep. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies, and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. That's an interesting way to put it, because you didn't know that the evidence was forged at the time, but I do get what you mean, like, in the context of now, but you didn't, like, the forging of the evidence isn't a part of your original motivation, though. I think according to how this, like, timeline works out, I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. Something puzzling. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor. Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Darke had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police station, at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? Back then, probably not. I think. I'll need to triple check. But I think back... was it mentioned here? She was some sort of an executive investigator, but probably not... I don't know. And she wasn't the prosecutor of the case either, so... yeah, because that was Edgeworth. No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Darke case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective. I'd better have another talk with her. Yep. Let's go have a talk with her then. I hope she's in the detention center. That would be very helpful. February 24th, detention center visitors room. Lana, Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh. About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was a reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. Do I? Like, do I have a right to know really anything, is my question, but I'll take that, sure. Like, that's a more like a philosophical question about, like, the right of knowing anything, but details. Today's trial. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed you. I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, what the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. Okay, Detective Lana Skye. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing! They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked on the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became a chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. Yeah, I probably should. Darke investigation. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Darke. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Yep, these four. Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Darke was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Darke. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Go for it. First one at the scene. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Darke that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Darke must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Darke. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. Oh, goody. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma who had passed out, and the suspect Joe Darke. During the struggle, it seems that Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Darke had induced a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her after all her sister must have gone through. Damn straight. That's just somehow very, like... That scene that visual really, like, moves me. Like, it grabs me somewhere. It's like, ooh. It's in, like, a sad way uncomfortable to watch, but I can't look away either because it moves me so much, you know. It's like, oof, oof. After that, I placed Darke under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, hmm? I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Darke. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with the memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Darke at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Yeah, I'm sure he'll just let us in, it'll be fine. Let's just, hey Chief, can we snoop around the place? It's gonna be all good. Interesting. Okie dokie. Well, let's go check. It might work out. Who knows? Might be really useful somehow. Interesting. Odd. Oh, well, it seems to work nonetheless, so I suppose it's fine. Okay. So, criminal affairs maybe, but I'm wondering if the lunch lady is here again. Just checking the parking lot to be sure. February 24th, prosecutor's office underground parking lot. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where detectives are. But we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case, but instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. It'll be fine. Is Edgeworth here? Just checking. February 24th, High Prosecutor's Office, Room 1202. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Cool, I can do that. Okie dokie. Oh, wrong button. Give me a second. Here. February 24th, Police Department entrance. Hi. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera sera. You never know where life will lead you, Bambina. I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Cactus? Must be his pet cactus. Yeah. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But, Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Cool. Dark trial. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon, You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Darke's, all right. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. Ooh. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. Yeah, sounds problematic for sure. That is one less. No kidding. Okie dokie. Prosecutor Marshall. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor, you know, the king of prosecutors thing. Yeah. I knew it. I knew it too. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. What about a prospector, though? Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. Yep, that is true. Scars. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They. Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Well, Gant and Skye. The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and his second-in-command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Ooh. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. True. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict, but someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. I wonder if one day we'll get a game or something where Emma is sort of like, you know, reunited with Lana again. Or something. I don't know. Here we go. February 24th, Police Station Criminal Affairs Department. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks? Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around the Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there, it's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Oh, goody. It's gonna be fine, I'm sure. It'll be just fine. Okie dokie. Twitch is being a little weird today, but it seems to still be working, and nonetheless, it's just being an odd thingy. February 24th, Police Department Chief's office. That's a set of organs for sure. Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. Oh, goody. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. Emma, why? I never could remember where C was. Hi, Gant. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Raito, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I have my hands full too, with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence. 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Yeah, the sword part of the trophy is no longer there, so that's interesting. Because it's in the picture still. And so is the urn from the thing. Cool. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Yeah, I picked up 2 things already, so there's that. Gant team picture added. Photo at the awards ceremony of Gant, Lana, and Neil. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm gonna lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out, I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's got to be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Okay, let's imagine a way. Just, like, from stuff. Let's go everywhere. Maybe we can find Gumshoe or someone. Haha. February 24th, Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, pal. Whoa, that's... I just had a wild guess that it's gonna be Gumshoe. I wasn't sure. Aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Yikes is right. Okie dokie, Edgeworth's crisis. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she? No offense, Emma. That just, you know. Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work! Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometimes, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. It seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Well, we'll have to just see about that then. SL9 incident. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Darke left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall who was trying to protect some girl? Some girl called Emma Skye. Yep, me. It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it has something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Damn straight. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Yeah, good, sure. Before I forget to do that... Hi. About this. Hey, is that... It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 Incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you trying to... What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, they suddenly disappeared from the locker. And was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. Again, just call it the exhaust pipe. Ah, that's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. Cool. Murder weapon. This knife, it was Joe Darke's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at, plus it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. No, you don't say. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well anyway, take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Darke's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Stabbed in the back, died from punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. The broken tip was found in the victim's body, belonged to the murderer Joe Darke. Yeah. Okay, Darke's crimes. Joe Darke was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal! Like a Tiger King. He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed a lady who saw the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed him too. Then when he was burying the... A jogger came upon the scene and killed him as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Okay. Seems like he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Darke was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last witness. AKA Emma. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The Chief's out now and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What? Really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with a breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh. Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. Well, let's just start randomly showing our inventory to him. Team picture? Let me share a little advice with you. I've seen that. Cool. Okay, autopsy report. Nope. Files. Presentation. I think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. You're looking into the case from Mr. Edgeworth. Yeah, it was a pretty big deal when it was going on, you know. After all, a serial killer was on the loose. That is true. But Lana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Darke guilty. Okay, I don't think the video will... Oh, maybe this one. About that jar. I think I've seen it before somewhere. Somewhere? Or maybe it's just one of those memories people have from previous lives. Thanks, Gumshoe. This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant? Where could I have seen that before? Yeah, it's in the picture. Can I now show you this one? Nope. I can't believe Officer Marshall did that. You know Officer Marshall. Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me a small cactus. Really? He said, Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe talks to a cactus. Hey, if it works. Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now. Someone ought to trade places with him. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Yeah, no reason. Nope, that doesn't work. No locker can be opened without a fingerprint match. Besides, there's no reason for the murderer to touch his own locker. Hey, wasn't your locker the one with the blood on it, Detective? The handprint of the real murderer's gloved hand without any fingerprints. Shh! If they come to arrest me, you'll defend me, won't you? If that happens, I think you'll do better pleading with Edgeworth. Interesting. Okay, doesn't want the glove, doesn't want the floor plans, doesn't want... Oh, a lost item report, huh? Very impressive, Detective. You knew what it was right off the bat. Well, I am a master of misplacement, you know. Master that has such a cool ring to it. Oh, sure. The way I see it, if things are meant to be lost, then they're meant to be lost. There's a higher power at work here. Oh, sure. Wow, a higher power. Maybe I shouldn't let Emma hold any evidence. Nope. Fingerprint set. Hey, that powder's used for detecting fingerprints. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth gave it to us. He did what? All I have is some flour. Are you okay, Detective? Quick, run! Achoo! Okay. Bless you. If it's any help, one time I took a nap on a bench with wet paint. Why am I not comforted? That's the ID card record, isn't it? Yes, there's only one number left to investigate. At 4:20 p.m., the victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number. 7777777. Yeah. Or 777777777. That's 17 too many, Detective. An executive officer, just might have a hunch. I might have a hunch, too. I just bought some of that stuff. Now I can go around detecting blood traces, too. Wow, is that a new type? I've never seen that bottle before. Add 3 inches to your base height. Base height? Let me see that. Looming tall. New and improved growth formula. You mean this can't detect any blood traces? Well, it's not quite the same thing as luminol. So that's why the lady at the counter had that smirk on her face. Man. Somehow I would have thought that at least the ID record would do the thing, but... Okay. That's the photo that Miss Star took. Anything you can tell us about it? That Miss Star is quite the lady. Why I remember it was winter. I was 16. She was the only one who ever got me to talk about what happened. 16. That's how old I am now. I wonder what happened. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe wore a trench coat in high school, too. Okay. Just checking stuff. Just cover our bases here. This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on that evidence locker with his life. That's more than you can say about most officers nowadays. It would have saved us a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well. I have to admit he's right, though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15 p.m. I've seen that, though. This ID card belongs to the victim, Detective Bruce Goodman. You can do just about anything these days with a card and a secret number. Scary. It's only scary because you keep dropping your card, Detective Gumshoe. I forget my secret number a lot too. I'm scared of myself. But I'm me after all, and what could be wrong with that? I think I'll stay out of this conversation. That's it. That's the King of the Prosecutors Award that Mr. Edgeworth got the other day. Were you at the award ceremony, Gumshoe? Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence. Yeah, I've seen this one too. Yeah. I've shown every item now. Lana, can you help? Do you want to see a picture of you? Attorneys and prosecutors have no business showing evidence outside of court. It's taboo, especially when the interests of both parties are involved. She really means it. Lana. Oh. Oh, come on. Does that mean she doesn't want to see anything? That's unfortunate. Okay. Okay, well, for the sake of argument, let's just go everywhere again. Because I do not remember how to do this thing. Ah, luckily. February 24th, High Prosecutor's Office, Room 1202. I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. It looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? I just wanted to say hi. I like the coat and all, so just have a cup of tea. Yes. He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Well, I want to talk about all these 3 things, at least. Forged evidence. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error, my responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Okie dokie, tomorrow's trial. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial, and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow is the last day, it's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists, that's odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture, something seemed strange about it. I'll show it to him in a minute. The day of the crime. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this? Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. Well, I mean, you know, you could just like say like a video hello and like not go, but I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here for the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to. That's right. Do you want to see a picture of people? Hi, this picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. Ask about it. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it though for Emma's sake? Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Objection! Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard the story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with a merchant at a loss of words. But in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks Mr. Edgeworth, I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. King of Prosecutors trophy updated. 2 years ago, halberd was removed at the Gant's behest, giving it its current form. It's more like a sword, but like quote-unquote halberd, right? Yeah. Okie dokie. You wouldn't know what number this thing is. It seems everything in this case is designed to cast doubt on me. Hey, don't look at me. Yes, I went in the evidence room on the day of the crime. Chief Gant asked me to do something. To take evidence from a case solved 6 months ago back to the prosecutor's office? I have a locker in there as well. Did you notice anything amiss when you were in the evidence room? That room's always dark and I was in a hurry. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Okie dokie. February 24th, Prosecutor's Office underground parking lot. So, Miss Star? Excuse me. Hi! Good guess. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Miss Star, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who's sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due to the transferal. This can't all be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Star's hatred toward Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Sounds about right, yeah. Yay! I have lunch boxes! That's actually a pretty tricky one to get for sure. Darke investigation. Joe Darke, that's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her. Lana Skye. My sister? The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. After case closed, though, that legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Darke got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof of anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us, save Goodman, were relieved of our duties, most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used? Legendary duo. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Gant led the investigation with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. His magnetism. By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence, you mean... Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared to confront him, though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Yeah, I take that too. That sounds about right. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yeah, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever have recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Okie dokie, being used. Lana transferred into the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control. And then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. At last. I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, Rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create a fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. I will see. I can almost boil an egg. Sort of. If I really focus and have like 12 tries of it. So. Okay, so I'm assuming I don't, since there was no mention of like showing her stuff, so probably don't need to. I didn't really get any new items either, though, so... Oh, okay. February 24th, Police Station Criminal Affairs Department. Oh, you're back. Yes, you're still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's got to be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. I didn't get any new items, though. It's all the same stuff. Yeah. Yeah, we've seen that too. Maybe, well, she's the only one I haven't, like, shown stuff yet. Don't have anything else to tell you. Miss Starr, the only thing I can give you now is a poppy seed rice set. Talk about cheap. Eat this and maybe you'll be able to tell black from white in court tomorrow. Yeah, doesn't say anything about that, nor that. Yeah, doesn't seem like it's gonna be fruitful. Yeah, like, those 5 items are, like, my main thing that I can show people, in my opinion. Oh, wait. Wait, that one. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look. Oh, sure. Are you crazy? Edgeworth's still sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What? Letter of requesting food. Yes, that's what it must be. If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, don't you mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. You edgelord, you! Uh-oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything. I probably can. I don't think I've any... Yeah, can't talk about stuff, but... What I can do is go... Because Gumshoe would surely react to this, and then he'll let us into the chief's office. Gumshoe, hi. Gumshoe, do you want a piece of paper? Don't sneeze on it, though. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? No way. Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? Interestingly enough, I would be interested to... I mean, it looks... it's probably a different... Because it looks like it's written in letters and all that stuff. But it's kind of interesting to know that in both English and Japanese, Miles Edgeworth's, the first two letters are in both cases M-I. I don't remember in which... Well, sorry. There's a way to write both of them in both languages with a start of M-I, because in English, Miles Edgeworth, and I think in Japanese or whatever, it's Mitsurugi something something. I'm pretty sure. At least in the anime, it's Mitsurugi. I can't believe they've pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was as cold as ice too. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence, but we betrayed him. Detective. That's it. I've made up my mind. But... Here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this, for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, detective, thank you. Police Department ID card allows access to areas of the PD open to detectives. Cool. Let's go to the chief's office and investigate all of the stuffs and things. February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Cool. We're in. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe is a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Ah! Ah! And a slap. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Detective Gumshoe, what are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came to. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered unusable in pocket. Oh dear. Don't do that to my card. Sorry. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. Yeah, well, let's see. The chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Gumshoe phrasing. Okay. Collect ourselves. Occasionally we hear him play. Oh no. Okay, I need to admit. Oh god. Oh god. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the second floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building. When a detective screws up, the chief calls them to his office and makes them listen to the organ for hours. What's so bad about that? Music suits the soul. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except for the ringing in their ears. So it's an instrument of punishment, literally. But aren't the chief's ears affected? He never listens to anyone anyway. That's beside the point. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant! He put that paper he was reading on in his desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. A list of evidence? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though. Hey, look at the case name. Huh? SL9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said, I wonder what... No, about evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long. That's right, I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-sized list of evidence. The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. Yes. What would the other half of the list be doing here? Aha ha 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 ha. I knew it, the chief must be hiding something about that case. It would appear so. The list of evidence in the SL9 incident was ripped in half, so this part is all I've got. Okie dokie. We found this in the drawer, a list of evidence. Edgeworth had the other half of that list. What would this list be doing here? We'd better look a little more into this list. I don't have hotspot. Oh, hi. I wonder what this is. It looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here. What is it? Did you find something? I can't make it out. I'd better keep quiet about it for now. Why? Why be quiet about it? I found That's the scene of the stabbing, but the question is, like, you know, can't make out faces, but stuff. Oh no, it's nothing. Why are your eyes moving about like that, Mr. Wright? I'd better not forget about this picture. Sure. This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons. Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. Shh, be careful of what you say. Who knows? The chief may be hiding in this armor as we speak. Actually, depending on like where you are, but like basically, if there's an add like value add or tax, then really anyone who buys anything pays tax in that way. But I don't think he'd fit in here. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out. You guys don't know how scary that guy can be. Right. Or in there. Yeah. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. A 7-digit number. I think I just might know what it is. Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date. It's... I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Here we go. Open the door. Safe door. Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? 7777777, the final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 777777, that ID number? I think you're 17 shy this time. This can only mean one thing, that's the Chief Gant's ID number. Yes. Say, anyone care to look inside? Well, let's. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a shard from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here too. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth. This is the handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it was just a thought. Is that it? That's all that was in the safe? Apparently so, it's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great, now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Come on, there's got to be something we can show the detective. Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, that's part of the jar, so... Listen, take a jar. A jar. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put that back together. Ah, those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found. You mean this one that was in the safe? Yes, that one that was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Assemble. Avengers, assemble fragments. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. If I can piece this together again, it'll provide Chief Gant. It'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Boom. There, it fits like a charm. That of course means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But, hey guys, get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others. How so? I mean, it has blood on it, yes, but... There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line? That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in a safe? Well, I'm sure we'll find out. Unstable jar updated. Evidence from the SL9 incident. Final fragment found in Chief Gant's safe. Blood traces. Well, there we go. Okie dokie. Well, I mean, I can't, like, luminol the stuff in my... I think. It'll probably come up in court or something. You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit of armor from here, At first the chief wanted to use stained glass for this window. Really? Why didn't he? They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view. Oh. Stained glass or not, it's a huge window. Okie dokie. This mark looks like some kind of flower. Word is it's designed after the insignia on the prosecutor's badge. The prosecutor's badge? Yeah, like the one hanging from your collar. What, they have badges too? The design's supposed to portray the severity of the punishment system. Oh, goody! Now that you mention it, it does look all pointy and kind of painful. But Mr. Edgeworth never wears a badge. That's because he's a sharp dresser. A badge like that wouldn't go too well with his outfit. So sharp dressers don't need to wear badges. I guess everyone just kind of lets it slide. I don't see how that's supposed to signify severe punishment. Okie dokie. These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. A small picture frame on the left shelf. Hey, this is when Lana and I went to that theme park. Oh, that's sad. This was Lana's desk. It sure is tidy. Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner. Of crime scenes as well? There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No. Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They were the stuff legends are made of. Does he keep it in memory of her or in memory of the crime? I don't know. Look at that giant window. Makes you want to crash through it and jump outside. This is the 15th floor. I know, it's just saying. Saying what? Ever since making Detective, I've always dreamed about doing something like that. Would you like to talk to, like, a professional about that? It sounds a little odd. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe has a lot of dreams. So long as he doesn't go crashing through that window when he gets fired. Don't say that! Okay, This was taken on that day 2 years ago. The day Joe Darke ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here, then went along with Chief Gant to question Darke. I bet he never knew he'd be dead just a few hours later. Gee, you think? Okie dokie, I think I've checked everywhere, so I would imagine, since this used to be a crime scene, let's luminol the entire place. There. Whoa, this area must have been covered in blood. Is this room from that incident? Or is this from that incident? It probably, yeah, it must be. When Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. 2 years have passed, so the reaction's kind of dull. So a murder really did take place here. Okay. Just check every corner. You never know, you know. And I'm sure no one will notice if I just luminol the whole place with like a thick half-a-meter layer of luminol. That's fine. I don't exactly remember how this went down. I was actually kind of half expecting that to have a reaction, but... And I can't really examine that either, so... Huh. The chief's office. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. It is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk. No one except Chief Gant, and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. What about Chief Gant? Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of those SL9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah. You wouldn't be... No. There's no way. Never mind, don't worry about it. Okay, now then let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant. So it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best that I don't divulge my feelings yet. There you go, ignoring me again. Okay, but I can't think of anything else to do. So... How odd. I have a vague memory that this should be like the end point of the investigation when we find the stuff we need, but I'm kind of drawing a blank here. That's what the chief was reading before, isn't it? You know, when we first came in here. Yeah, it looks like the right side of the form's been torn off. So Mr. Edgeworth's list really was only half of the whole thing. Something else is bugging me more than that. Take a look at the back of that form, pal. The back. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's fine. But that's the only thing I found in here, so... If I'm fired, I won't be able to give you any information, so that's why I have to get it all out of my system now. You understand, don't you? Don't be so negative, detective. We do want you to share your information, though. Oh, who am I fooling? I've never had anything useful to share to begin with. Ah, got to stay positive. Yes. But yeah, that is the I have nothing answer. Okay, so that doesn't help. Nothing here. But I never took the items from the... Like, I assembled the jar, but... I didn't take the other thing. And I can't, like, luminol the thing, right? It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain. Looks like blood. This piece the chief has is different, though. The bloodstains on the other piece are just spots. But this one's a line. That's odd. Can I luminol the thing? But no, I can't. I can just zoom in and out. Ugh. There's still the actual, like, that part is still gone, but that's probably, hopefully, fine. One more check with the... because something is not right. Unless I need to go back to Edgeworth with the, Unless I need to go back to Edgeworth with the other half of the case files or something, but... So that's that. That's fine. I honestly expected this to have some, but no. Huh. Indeed, I have done this before, but it's been well over a year and I don't remember the specific steps of doing stuff. And sometimes in the old Ace Attorneys, the progression is a little off. But not always, though. Just sometimes. So I wouldn't yet say that. But there has been a couple of like incidents in this case where a dialogue option happens rather out of nowhere. Like, how did that unlock? It wasn't there before. It was like I probably examined something that sort of vaguely, for some no good reason, then did the thing. So I can't think of anything else. Let's go see if Edgeworth's still home or at work. Hi. Right, please. I'm the prosecutor. Oh, come on. That's the half of the thing you probably would want to see, you moron. Fine. Okie dokie. I'm pretty sure I did this without a walkthrough the last time around, though, so it shouldn't be like... Like, I wasn't above checking a walkthrough in the other cases when I played them first if I was completely stuck, because there was a couple of times I was, but... I'm pretty sure I did this without that. There's just something I'm missing here. And I don't have anywhere else to... The lunch lady probably wouldn't care about the evidence thing. Oh well, logically she would, but she literally says she has nothing else to say to me, so... Why can't I take the stuff from the safe? And why stuff and things? Okay, what am I missing? Ah! Come on. I've luminoled everything. That is not the problem. What am I missing? You've been studying up on those files, nothing wrong with Edgeworth's presentation. To think people are accusing him of injustice, ain't buying it. And I think I've seen that, yeah. And again, I can't just like fingerprint stuff just like so. It needs a very specific sort of... Right. Interestingly enough, the game doesn't actually have for me the tip of the knife, because it did show it to me as an evidence piece, but it never came up in the inventory. That's odd. I'm really stumped. What does the game want me to do? I've luminoled every square inch, I've shown every item, I've talked to everyone and showed every item to them as well. And I've examined every square inch as well of this place. I remember that Damon Gant is supposed to barge in at some point, like, hey, let's get out of here, and then we go to court. Fine, walkthrough time. I have no idea. I am completely lost. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Damn, that sucks. Okie dokie. Day 3 investigation. Reading. No. Oh! Really? Really? That's really dumb. Why? Oh god. So I need to present to him the fingerprinting set, which... Like, yeah, I would have loved to get the fingerprints off of that piece of cloth or whatever. That's fine, but that you need to, like, think of the game mechanic to present the fingerprinting set to Gumshoe out of just for no reason. And to think that the game would then just take that as you wanting to talk about fingerprints with the piece of cloth. As opposed to just like... Why wouldn't you just be able to do that? Like, just like, you find the thing, and then you just like ask for the fingerprinting stuff in dialogue. Why this? This is so not... As I said, sometimes the progression in especially the first 3 Ace Attorney game sucks. I love the games, but sometimes the progression, like how do I go forward, sucks. Sometimes it does that, and that's not up for debate. Later games fix that problem. These 3 first, the stories are excellent. Sometimes the game progression sucks. Okay. Hey, I know what that is, so you want to take some fingerprints. That's a great idea, detective. Especially when you can just press Y to luminol the entire room, but there's no button to use the fingerprinting set anywhere. So it's like you wouldn't think... There's no precedent for this. It's like, What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. I mean, Gumshoe is basically, like, just as in the dark as we are about how to proceed in this. Like, Jesus Christ. It's not your fingerprints we want to take. Huh? Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe. Oh, haha. I knew that, the one with the handprint on it, right? Jeez, where's your sense of humor? Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then, once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I don't have time to be I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get this over with. That looks pretty clean. Really? Just be enough. There we go. Okie dokie. I think I remember whose that is. Yep. Match found. Woo! Awesome. No, how can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they? It seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Just be honest with the girl. Like, come on. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Darke's prints. Psst, hey you, over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Found in Chief Gant's safe evidence for something, but what? Bears Emma Sky's prints. Well, was I any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now, that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Hi! Isn't that right, you in the coat? Ah! Chief Gant! We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in science. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir? Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir... Now get out. Yes, sir. We'll be on our way to you then. Wait, you, the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like a word with you. But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright. Oh dear. Look, pal, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why has she kept eerily silent about it all this time? Anyway, listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the Chief again. Later, pal. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. February 24th, Detention Center Visitors Room. Hi. I see, so the Chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing, not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. Let's ask about the story. Keeping quiet. I have to admit I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth, it's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? The one I'm supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? Well, there's a dude called Damon Gant, and that's him, so, you know. Take that! Well, Miss Sky, Mr. Wright, you are addressing the Chief Prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? Sure, Damon Gant, let's go. We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did, specifically hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. Well, the unstable jar. Take that! I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmise, I cannot disobey the Chief's orders. Even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright, you can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. In the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Orders. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Haha. So he was already dead, just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife from the SL9 incident, serial killer Joe Darke's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that is the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Miss Starr, huh? Why did you need to hide Darke's knife so badly? Let's ask. It took a lot of work to finally close the Darke case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't even ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So you hid Darke's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Darke case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. In Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Well, at least it didn't say muffler. Right, then I called my sister. To tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. Right. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this one. That would explain why Emma is so confident. About Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling? The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean... not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial, there's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. To be continued. For surezies! Gonna be a really long courtroom scene, I think. So I'm gonna call the recording of here, but I'll continue streaming though. But if you're watching this on YouTube, I do hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have, please do drop a like or a comment, or even subscribe or share if you want to. It really help. And join me here live on Twitch to chat with me live while I do these things and all that good stuff, and I'll hopefully see you again next time.